There is a staggering lack of integration by certain immigrant communities in the UK.
If you had started with that, I wouldn't have felt offended, because I feel slightly offended, because how do you know that I'm not a migrant? I'm born here, I'm black, I'm Muslim. You don't know that. You could just look at me and think I'm an immigrant.
You being offended is really not my problem. If you don't like what I say, then there's always a red button and you can turn your TV off.
That's the problem. That is the problem. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant from Peter Bleksley. He had to take on the Liberal opponent in the studio as well as the odious caller. The woman sat next to him argued Birmingham is an integrated place where they all celebrate each other's religions and festivals. Really? Is she sure about that? Pretty sure some religions are more intolerant and authoritarian than others. The Muslim caller said if he had moved up north, people wouldn't integrate with him because he's black and Muslim, so why should he be expected to integrate? It doesn't work like that. In England, the emphasis to integrate has to be on those arriving. Peter said, the fact you are offended by my words is not my problem. He's right, but under this horrific Labour government, it may soon be his problem. I've read Labour's Islamophobia policy that may soon be the basis for the new law they are trying to introduce. They got their definition of Islamophobia from the Runnymede Trust, which is a far-left Marxist organisation full of anti-British activists. Their policy stipulates, and I'm not making this up, implying Muslims are anti-Semitic, homophobic, or misogynistic can be classed as discrimination or hatred, as can suggesting mass immigration from Muslim countries may potentially be a threat to Britain. In other words, they are silencing any criticism of Islam. And it's going further than blasphemy laws. And because they have such a large majority in Parliament, they may be able to push this stuff through. Anyway, here's the debate. Well done to Peter Bleksley.
It's very much the numbers. It's very much a concern about lack of integration. And also the elephant in the room that so many people don't want to tackle, the rise of Islam, which gives huge concerns to millions of people.
I think that immigration, why does everyone keep on targeting the small minority of so-called brown or coloured people as the problem is migration? But the majority of people that migrate here are white, yeah? And the man on your panel, does he have a problem with Ukrainians coming to this country and migrating to this country? And plus, I am also black, Muslim, born here, British. Do you mean that I don't integrate here? Is that what you're trying to say when you say that, the rise of Islam?
Peter?
Yeah, I'll answer that question directly. Many people are not integrated, and I could go just 2 or 3 tube stops away from this studio in London to areas where there is a huge lack of integration, where people who have been here for a long time do not speak a word of English, where they do not mix with people from other creeds, colours and cultures. I can show you many of those examples throughout the breadth of the land.
And I can go all the way up north. I'm British, born and bred here. So was my parents. I'm Muslim, I'm back. I can go all the way up north and no one don't want to integrate with me. So what you got to say to that?
If you go up north then, try talking to people and make some friends. Generally speaking, I have a wonderful time wherever I travel in the UK. But that does not take away from the fact that there is a staggering lack of integration by certain immigrant communities in the UK. I've got friends from every race, colour and creed who have come to this country, worked hard, raised great families, contributed and become lifelong... Excuse me, I hadn't finished.
So why didn't you say that at the beginning? Why did you imply that people come to this country? Because you just said that now, which if you had started with that, I wouldn't have felt offended. Because I feel slightly offended, because how do you know that I'm not a migrant? I'm born here, I'm black, I'm Muslim. You don't know that. You could just look at me and think I'm an immigrant.
You being offended is really not my problem. If you don't like what I say, then there's always a red button and you can turn your TV off.
That's the problem. That is the problem. Yeah, and the people that you are actually offending are vulnerable people.
But hold on, look, I think...
They're vulnerable people that you're trying to target. They're the smallest part of the migration in this country that you're trying to target.
Look,
they're illegal.
From one perspective, not all of them. Look, sorry, look...
On the boats, on the small boats.
I think there is a difference in sort of wording here. Peter, you're concerned with culture and integration. And look, you think that this is actually a racial thing. This is based on physicality alone.
What culture is he worried about? What culture are you talking about? Because I'm British, and I want to know...
He's mentioned one already.
I'm British and I'm Muslim. Does that mean I'm not British culture? I'm Muslim. Because you said the rise of Islam in this country. Does that mean I'm not part of the British culture? But I'm born here, bred here.
Yeah, what I
And I'm
actually said, to be crystal clear here, so there's no chance of any confusion, I said is that many people who live within the UK are concerned about the rise of Islam, and that
You actually
is
said
a fact.
the elephant in the room. You said the elephant in the room that no one talk about, the rise of Islam. So you imply like there's
Well, I
something
think
going on
it's
here.
Islam employing foreign workers.
Yes, indeed, and the amount of people that come here pseudo-legally and bring countless dependents with them all. The landscape, the demographic of the UK is changing. In our inner cities, it's already changed beyond recognition from how this country was when I was growing up. Some migration, of course, is good when migration leads to integration. But we don't have integration in this country like we should have. We have masses of cultures. We've got as many cultures as you can shake a stick at. But we do not have the levels of integration that we need, that would be healthy, and that might just make this country prosper.
But Peter, like everything, forgive me, that's such an overgeneralisation. I grew up in Birmingham, which is a very multicultural city, and white people, when I was growing up, are in the minority, and they're still in the minority because of a diaspora of different, ethnic communities in Birmingham. And there's a huge amount of integration. I'm not saying that there aren't problems in Birmingham, and West Midlands Police, a lot of my mates work in West Midlands Police. There are obviously problems, but, we as a city, I think, integrated really well. We have, we celebrated Asian festivals, we celebrated Black Afro-Caribbean culture, and obviously we also celebrated. And I just think that it is such a generalisation to say there is no integration in this country. It's just wrong.